So I wanted to bring you guys along on my hike today. I'm at the highest peak in the eastern United States, Mount Mitchell. And this place is not only very beautiful, it's also very significant to my journey in regards to hiking and filmmaking. The first time I came here was a little over 2 years ago, and I was absolutely blown away. Not by the views, but by the forest, the moss and the ferns and the redwood. These were things that I didn't think we had in the eastern United States. I thought you had to go to like Oregon to even have a chance of seeing anything like this. And I think that one trip kind of marks a transition for me from thinking that I lived in the most boring place on the entire planet to constantly being out hiking and finding new spots to shoot. Just like me, most of you probably don't live in a particularly exotic location, and social media can make it feel like everyone else's surroundings are way cooler than your own. Lately, I've been getting a lot of comments and questions from you guys asking how to make the most of a not so interesting location in your backyard and how to make do kind of with the cards that you've been dealt and still get great photos. And recently, I've even gotten some comments asking like, Aidin, I don't live somewhere beautiful like North Carolina. How can I possibly still make great films? And these are words that I never thought I would hear, because to me, the Carolinas are about as ordinary as it gets. All that to say, in this video, I want to not only bring you along on this nice little hike, but also share a few different things that help me to stay inspired where I live and to make the absolute most of my backyard. If you want to find the coolest thing in your area, I think a great place to start is by getting as far away from civilization as you possibly can. For example, we're out here on top of a mountain, middle of the woods. If you look at this area on a map, there are pretty much no roads to get here. Just one, and it's like the state park access road. So absolute middle of nowhere. I'm of the belief that Mother Nature doesn't miss, right? Like every natural landscape out there is dope, and they only become mundane and ugly when we obstruct them. Bird. I have to redo every line like multiple times because of these birds. And those landscapes only become mundane or unappealing when we obstruct them with like buildings and roads. And of course, some buildings and roads can add to a landscape and to a composition, but you get the point. It's a great place to start by getting as close to nature and true wilderness as you possibly can. Secondly, and this is a big one, you gotta stop getting all of your travel and photography inspiration from Instagram. Social media makes you feel left out, and it's easy to feel like everyone else lives somewhere awesome because they're posting awesome photos. The reality is, most of the travel content on Instagram is concentrated to a relatively small handful of very popular locations, but there's a ton of other stuff that just doesn't get the same level of attention, and a lot of it is probably in your backyard. The resource I use to find almost all of the places that I go to shoot is AllTrails. It's a giant database of trails rather than photos. So most of the photos you see on there are not very good, so it gives you an accurate depiction of where you're actually going, and it's a great place to see the location and figure out the photo for yourself. It's also literally just a forum for hikers to share trails with other hikers. So no one on there cares about what's gonna get the most likes. So it's a great place to find hidden gems because they usually get about as much attention as everything else. It also has a bunch of other great features like trail information and being able to download satellite maps so you don't get lost while you're hiking. It's a resource I can't recommend enough. And obviously, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but if they want to, I'm in. And my final tip for you before we move on to our next location is to visit areas in different weather conditions, particularly weather conditions that you might not want to go out in. It's incredible just how much a great sunrise or a nice layer of mist can completely transform a location. That's what I did for today's shoot. Last night, I looked at the weather forecast for this area and I saw a 100% chance of rain. So I was like, all right, I gotta shoot tomorrow. And I did that because I wanted that nice layer of fog that you can get in the forest on a rainy day. It just adds so much to this landscape. To be honest, I was hoping we would get a little more fog than we're seeing right now, but it's still a nice layer of mist in the trees and rain on the leaves and the ground that just adds more depth and drama and mood to the area. And actually, as I'm saying this, I'm kind of watching some more dense fog kind of come in behind me, so I guess there's a cloud moving in from this side of the mountain. I mean, doesn't this look dope though? Like, it looks like we're in like a Disney movie or something. I'm telling you, you gotta go shoot in the rain. It's great. All that being said, let's move on to another location and shoot the rest of this video. All right, these fall colors are gorgeous, but time to get back on the road and head to another spot to shoot the rest of this video. And to be clear, when I talk about like shooting in my backyard car, this stuff isn't like in my actual backyard. I'm always driving like 2 or 3 hours to find these spots and shoot. Like, by the end of today's shoot for this video, I will have driven at least 5, maybe 6 hours today, but it's worth it. But it is still a lot of driving, so let's go find some mountain coffee to make it more bearable. Made it to one of my favorite coffee shops in this cute little mountain town in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna go get some caffeine and then we can explore a little more of this very cute, very mountainy little town. Another thing you need to keep in mind, and shooting in the right weather conditions is kind of like a part of this, is that when you look at a photo or a film on YouTube or Instagram, anywhere, you need to remember that there's a lot of craft behind it. It's not just the location. It's a lot more about composition, how you work with natural light, how you post-process the images. Locations look completely different when you shoot and edit them the right way. And I say that not to be like a Deborah Downer, like, everything you see on social media is fake, but more to point out that this is an opportunity that you have as well. So if you're in a location that's not, super exotic and just inspiring from the get, keep in mind that you should be looking at it not as what it is, but as what you can turn it into when you shoot it in your style and edit it a certain way and fulfill your artistic vision, you could say, that way. That being said, I think I'm about the last person in this mountain town at the moment. It's like 5:25 and it shut down super fast. I was gonna go up the road to a little fudge shop they have here and get some fudge, but I missed it. Next time. But seeing as it is after 5, I'm gonna hit the road again in a moment and we will go try and shoot somewhere for sunset. I don't think there's gonna be much of a sunset, but we'll go somewhere and see what we get. So I made it, but I think it's safe to say that sunset isn't gonna be much of an event tonight. But that's fine. I mean, come on. This is still dope. So let's finish out the video here instead. The final piece of advice I have for you isn't really what anyone wants to hear, and it's that you just have to do a ton of research to find these hidden gems and track down these locations that don't make it onto social media. I spend a ton of time just screwing around on the internet, browsing through trails on all trails, trying to find new things to shoot. And as a result of that, I'm always finding new areas to shoot and things that I didn't know about before. But you have to put in that time to research, and you also have to be willing to just try things, to just go places, explore a new trail without knowing if it's gonna be worth it. Just accept that it might suck, but do it anyway. This is a dangerous shot, so let's make it fast. Ironically enough, I think the thing that made me really start exploring my backyard was actually moving to New York for 3 months last summer. Being really immersed in that big city environment that's so different to what we have here is what ultimately made me realize how much I actually enjoy hiking. So when I got back, I was really eager to hit the trail because I hadn't done it in 3 months. So I did. And then I did a few days later, and ever since then, it's been pretty much a weekly routine for me. Oh, car. Let's get out of the road. All that to say, as cliche as it is, the grass is pretty much always greener on the other side. Earlier today, actually, I received a comment from someone saying that they weren't as lucky as me with where they live because they had to drive 7 hours to get to the mountains. But the mountains that they could drive to were the European Alps. Being here, the first thing I reacted to that comment with was, wow, you can drive to the Alps. But if the roles were reversed, I lived 7 hours from the Alps and they lived 2 hours from the Blue Ridge Mountains, we'd probably be saying the exact same thing, because the grass is always greener on the other side, and living somewhere for a large portion of your life does a great job of desensitizing you to what's special about that location. And I don't want to imply that I'm immune to this. I'm absolutely not. I 100% would rather be in the Dolomites or the Cascades in Washington, and I want to move to somewhere with cooler, more dramatic landscapes, in my opinion, in the future. But I want to be able to look back and know that I made the absolute most of these mountains while I was here. And of course, I didn't make this video to suggest that you shouldn't travel or that you don't need to. You absolutely should if you have the opportunity. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to travel nearly as frequently as others. And occasionally, there's a global pandemic and nobody has the opportunity to. But hopefully what you took away from this video is that even when that happens and when you're stuck in one place, you can still get out there, have an adventure, find something new, and make a great video. All right. See you next week. This was a good vlog. We got foggy forest vibes. We got fall foliage. We got mountain coffee. Just an overall really good vlog, but it's raining, so I'm leaving. See you next week.